my name is Jennifer Maneely, and I am the founder and executive director of the Recovering Family, where we help families that have loved ones with substance abuse issues. One of the big problems, and something I want to address today in this video, is really how to form effective boundaries. Now, I'm going to give you a quick tip and some tools in this very quick video, but also know that I have a very long, not a very long program, but I do have a much more extensive program than what I'm going to share with you today. It's called the Unbreakable Boundaries. I have 5 principles that I go through on how to really create and change and have a lifestyle around forming boundaries throughout everything that you think, do, and say, right? So, but this is just a practical strategy for today, something that I touch on in that program that I feel like is very helpful. When we're thinking about boundaries, it's really important to think about boundaries in terms of goals. You're setting a goal for yourself because you want to be more effective and set firm boundaries with your loved one. Sometimes we just don't always know how to communicate with that. We're setting a goal for them as well. Whether they sign up for that goal is really up to them. They do not have to, but it should not change your action and what you do and the boundary that you set. That's what starts creating unbreakable boundaries, is that it is not based on them. It is based on the agreements that you make with yourself for them, right? So the easiest way that I think, because I think sometimes we just have to have something to really think through, is using the SMART formula, which is really about goal setting, but it can be applicable to setting boundaries as well. And it's also really simple and it's very clear. I use this in the way that I form boundaries because I think it's just a really good, handy strategy to, when I'm thinking about something, how to be clear about what it is that I want, because clarity is essential for people to understand expectations, for you to be clear, and for it to be able to be measured out as well. So I'm going to use, first, let me tell you about the SMART formula. You probably have heard about this. If not, bear with me. I think it's really great. The S, it's an acronym. So the S stands for specific. The M stands for measurable. The A stands for attainable. The R stands for relevant. And the T stands for time-based, right? And so we want to have all of these when we're setting boundaries to make sure that we're following along. I'm going to give you an example. Don't go too far into whether you should or shouldn't do this. This is not the purpose of this video. It's just an example. Maybe you're not ready for this, but I like to use, like, maybe you're paying for their phone bill. Again, we're just using that as an example. So you're paying for their phone bill. You don't want to pay for their phone bill anymore. You're like, I'm done paying. You are, however old they are, old enough to be able to pay for their phone bill, amongst other things, right? Again, we're just using this as an example. And you want to be able to communicate and articulate that you're no longer going to be paying for their phone bill. Now, I believe that if we're stuck in a pattern, it takes a little bit of time to start transitioning, because we also want to set them up for success. So we want to be very clear and not just overnight have something changed, because those don't last very long when all of a sudden you're like, I'm done and I'm not doing this anymore. And you just try to cut them off like right out the gate, right? Like, we really want to set these up for success. So we're thinking about things that really work. And so we want to be more like, what is attainable? So if they're used to getting their phone bill paid and you're used to paying this, what's not attainable is for them tomorrow to all of a sudden have to pay for their phone bill and not get a little upset or get a little jarred, get a little panicky from that. Whether they should or should not be able to pay for their phone bill is irrelevant. We want to set them up for as much success as possible so they get a chance, they get their head wrapped around things as well. So when we're looking at being very specific, we want to say, let's just give an example of, today's date, right? Today's date for me, I'm recording this on June 3rd, is on June 3rd. to be measurable, to be time-based as well, we want to say, again, total example, 3 months from now, you are going to be responsible for your own phone bill. I'm no longer going to pay it for in 3 months. Do you feel like you can get, we're going to call it $100? Do you feel like you can, in 3 months, find enough extra income at $100 a month, which is really just like a really small part-time job? Extra little, doing things little here to pick that up, right? They should be able to find an extra $100. They will tell you at the time, because they're given 3 months, that they should be able to cover that, right? So then you go back and you say, okay, so by September 3rd, you will have enough extra income to be able to afford your phone bill. They may or may not agree with it. They probably will, at least at the time. They may want to push back. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what they do. It only matters that they understand and know that they have 3 months to figure out what they're going to do. Now, that goal, that boundary, it is measurable, right? Because after September 3rd, it's measurable, not whether or not they have the extra income, because that's up to them to figure out. That's not up to you. It's measurable in terms of you not paying for it afterwards. Either you will pay for it or you will not. That's how you know it is measurable, right? So after September 3rd, if you pay for it, then you know that that goal was not achieved. Or if you don't pay for it, you know that that goal was achieved, right? It's also relevant because it's important for them to start learning financial stability. No matter what phase of their recovery or not recovery they are in, if they are adults, they have to learn how to be responsible. Now, there's a lot of arguments, and again, I use the phone bill as just an example. You may be in your mind going, oh, no, I still have to pay for their phone bill because I need to make sure to be able to stay in constant contact. Employers need to be able to stay in contact with them, and yada, yada, yada. What I want to offer in that scenario is that there are other options. So whenever we feel like there is just no other choice, I have to do this for them, there are always other options and always other choices that we could be doing. We just may not be very clear or aware of it. And sometimes we also have to just allow them the choices that they're living, right? So that's one of the things that I do, is also help have other options for families to work within. So you're never feeling like I just have to do this. It's a choice. We have other options. We have other choices. You just may not be able to see them right out the gate. But there are so many different ways to communicate anymore, which is both a good thing and not a great thing, right? There are just so many other ways that people do and can continue communication, even if they don't have specifically a phone. There's still other ways of doing things. And so, if you want to learn more, or you want to work with me a little bit more one-on-one, that bigger program that I was talking about with my 5 principles that I call unbreakable boundaries, that is something that I work with people one-on-one to help for the long term of how to really live a boundary lifestyle. Please feel free to reach out to me, or if you just have other questions, always feel free to reach out to me. You can just email me, info@therecoveringfamily.org. That will come to me, and we can talk more about some other options. You can also just directly call or even text. You can text me at 828-920-8776, and we can set something up that way. Also, if you just want to schedule a call, if you're like, listen, I don't need to go through all that, I'm just ready to talk to you, go to my website and just schedule a first-time call. The website is therecoveringfamily.org, and just reach out to me that way. And I hope to hear from you soon, and I hope this was really helpful, and let me know if you have any more questions about this.